Ladies and gentlemen, to open the Day 2 proceedings of AHIC 2021, please welcome back CEO of Bench and founder of AHIC, Mr. Jonathan Worsley.
Well, welcome back to the second day of the Arabian African Hospitality Investment Forum, Saudi Hospitality Investment Conference, the Global Restaurant Investment Forum, 4 events packed into 3 days. And delighted to have you all back, and I hope everybody had a fantastic time yesterday. You know, for us, this is just a sort of a relief to be here on the second day. We made it through the first day, and today we've got stunning sessions, starting with my interview this morning with José Silva. But enjoy yourselves. We've got sessions packed up all afternoon, breakout sessions, and great time to network and get together with the industry again. So the man that I would like to introduce has a wealth of experience, with more than 35 years experience in the international luxury hospitality sector, and head of Jumeirah since 2018. During his tenure at the Four Seasons Georges V, the hotel was awarded 5 Michelin stars, and today it still has the most Michelin stars hotels in Europe and America. Born in Portugal, raised in Montreal, José thinks global with a local approach. José Silva, please join us on stage. So, José, first of all, can I say on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for an amazing reception last night.
Our pleasure, thank you.
It was incredible. If everybody can just show their appreciation. I must say, I didn't know that you could make eggplants taste so nice.
Right. I've told Jonathan that it wasn't out of kindness. I know you guys are all very difficult, so I just wanted to deal with the criticisms and make sure everyone had a great time last night, so appreciate it.
No, it was absolutely fantastic. And have a seat. José, Jumeirah has been incredibly important for us. Listen, I apologize about the socks.
Your socks are cool.
I apologize about
I'm a boring hotelier. What can you do?
No, but you're not wearing a tie.
Yeah, you got me off the tie.
That's very good. I've never seen you not wear a tie.
First time I listened to someone.
But no, my colleague Matt Weiss has a competition going on, so I'm trying to win the competition of socks.
I can see my colleague there has some really bright red socks.
That's very good. But you've been instrumental in this event right from day one. Jumeirah has. Actually, we were the first event in the Madinat Jumeirah.
That's correct. That's correct.
So we've got a nice history, 17 years of history together. Now, José, running a big operation like this, what sort of leadership was required to manage during this difficult time?
As you say, these were difficult times. So during a pandemic, I think the leadership that was successful, and I've seen many of them that were successful, is a leadership that was agile and could embrace change. And these were like daily changes. It was not the usual change where every month things are happening. Daily, borders were closing and opening and challenges were coming your way. So I would say agility and embracing change. More importantly, a leadership that was compassionate. This was a difficult moment for everyone. So compassionate towards the employees that were having endless issues and the difficulties, and compassionate to the anxiety of our customers. And I remember people were afraid to get out of their homes, right? Now today we're all here together and looking back, but 18 months ago, some people stayed at home for 3 to 4 months. So when they came out of their homes, I guess they had high levels of anxiety. So if you were compassionate and you were attentive, a leadership of proximity. I moved to the front line with the employees on a daily basis, as you had to make decisions on the front line. You had to observe the employees, help them go through their challenges, and at the same time, ensure that you were still providing what your consumer was expecting in the middle of that pandemic.
Were you giving them an idea of where you were heading during this time as well?
Well, I think success during these challenging moments is, yes, to deal with the immediate needs, but focus on your end game. So your hand game at the end of the day is your way out. 18 months quickly happened. Business return for us in Dubai. Fortunately, within 6-8 months, we were experiencing decent levels of business. So we were focused on that return, the return of the 6, 12, and 18 months. And we were as focused on our expansion during these crises, as I knew very well that we would have liquidity in market. Uncertainty creates liquidity in people that are a bit nervous about the moment and therefore may transact their assets or their position in their investments. Therefore, fantastic opportunities have come up, and we successfully secured some and are advancing in others. So focusing on our long game was really my sleep at night, thinking of the game. Wake up in the morning, thinking of the immediate needs. But before you move into the afternoon, you've got to think of your long-term game.
Yeah, and the Dubai leadership must have really helped with this as well, in terms of looking at that long game. Where
we were very fortunate. I mean, today, everyone in this room and worldwide would recognize how successful Dubai has been on managing this pandemic. I would say, in my observation, that we were successful in 3 areas. First, health and safety, of course. Second, economy, keeping the economy going and borders relatively open. And third, providing a social society that could still function. We have not experienced, as some other countries have experienced, the same level of social unrest with shutdowns that were so long that society couldn't deal with it. And what I've watched in some destinations is what I call a stop and go attitude, where countries will fully open, no masks, very liberal, and then they shut down into complete closures, which would paralyze them, and then reopen under social pressure into no mask again, no measures again. Dubai was disciplined and gradual on containing and managing. So keeping these 3 spheres of health, economy, and social society, I think, was quite productive or well done for Dubai. And you have to also commend the leadership of UAE that very early was able to secure vaccines. We were all wondering which vaccine to take, where do we invest, with whom do you partner? Well, UAE has partnered with multiple providers of vaccines, secured them, and launched probably, again, a role model national vaccination campaign. And that has helped us in the industry. And it has secured as well, I would say, our partner countries that trusted Dubai in keeping their borders open, because they were also worried about their safety. So you really had to trust with whom you're opening travel corridors. And again, we are grateful that many countries trusted Dubai and UAE.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because we've been talking a lot at this conference about, how leaders have reacted to the pandemic and what they've done as leading their companies. It'd be interesting to look at how governments, after all this, have done it, and done it well, in terms of acting quickly, communicating with their people and everything else. But what do you feel is your most, what's your biggest accomplishment that you've achieved at Jumeirah?
I think that the biggest accomplishment was immediately we worried about safety. So safety for our employees and safety for our guests. So just to give you an example, in our hotel Al Nasim, we were the first hotel worldwide to be safeguarded by Bureau Veritas. We hadn't planned to win an award. This was not about a race of any kind. It was about doing the right thing. And eventually we reached out to Bureau Veritas as we felt, let's get the experts and see if we're doing the right thing. And immediately as they went through their checklist, we qualified for certification. So we were pleased with it. However, that wasn't the goal. So I would say our biggest success was to focus on safety, as this was a pandemic, of course, and be inclusive of our employees in the way we're managing this crisis, and therefore start moving out of the crisis and into our long game, as I said before, where we've introduced a number of new restaurants, increased the value to our guests. In a moment of crisis where the pie is being shrunk, you have to provide additional value. So we provided additional value, new restaurants, new experiences, in order to protect share, and in some areas even grow share.
Certainly you've done that at Sal, haven't you? I guess I was there the other day, and that's an extraordinary piece of architecture going in that whole area. It's just absolutely beautiful, but opening it up to the public, essentially.
Well, Cell was actually designed and built right at the beginning of the pandemic. I thought the employees and the consumer needed something positive. So we've all engaged in designing that asset and crafting an identity that we believe fits the brand. And as you know, our brand is really focused on design, destination dining, and service beyond expectations. And I've tried to craft that in that unit. It was as I say to my boss, low cost and high impact. He said, yes, of course, it's all relative low cost. But at the end of the day, it's been extremely successful. We didn't expect that level of success, I must admit.
If any of you have a chance, I recommend going to La Salle at the Burj Al Arab. It is just extraordinary, amazing.
It has, we often talk about the economy of experiences or the era of digital. And in the economy of experiences, I simplified things. You have to oversimplify in order to get things done, right? That's how you align the organization. And I say we do two things in that space. We do design that trigger emotions. So you've got to be, it has to have an impact in you. And we do experiences that create memories and are worth sharing. This is really important. The word worth sharing means you will share, most likely in social media. I mean, your consumer today is your advocate. So unless you turn that consumer into an advocate, he will advocate or she will advocate either way.
So it's about making your restaurants almost like studios, making them a stage.
Well, restaurant dining today is about entertainment. Well, you don't no longer go to a restaurant to dine. Of course you dine, but at the end of the day, that space is an entertainment space where you set the scene of the design, the energy. We even have words like the red carpet. Where do the guests arrive? How can you be positioned and seated to see and be seen on that front? So the staging and the theatrics of that environment are as important as the food. Of course, the food needs to be exceptional and memorable. And the energy. We specifically designed for energy, and it's not easy to grasp because energy can be high energy or low energy. You've been to Sal, but we've designed a pool, which we call the Celeste pool or the holistic pool, and there's actually no loungers at that pool. So my boss told me, where are the loungers? And I said, well, there's no loungers. This is a chill pool. You're supposed to just go there, chill, and have a quiet moment. He said, are you sure? This is the idea? I said, of course, because sometimes you go to pools, some people try to relax in the pool, sleep, or enjoy the pool. There are different energies. So we've designed at Sal a high energy environment where the pool and the beach club is very active and the restaurant very vibrant, yet on the beach we've opened a pool that is absolutely to chill, and anyone in there is actually enjoying the moments. What yesterday in your sustainability team was described as the slow movement. But that movement of slow and fast, or movement of different energies. People today want to gather in a group or a tribe, as we call them, that have the same goal in that space. So we're trying to divide these slow and fast moments. We've done as well another one, and I'll stop there in design, where in Al Nassim, if any of you have a chance to go and see the fitness, it has skylights, it has integrated vegetation, it has an outstanding view over the ocean. So that moment of chill while working out, where working out doesn't become just something you need to do, but something you want to do. So anything you do today, you've got to think, how can I turn this into an experience? How can this be memorable and not just dining or not just a pool?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's great. Staffing. I mean, your staff are unbelievable. Last night, the service was incredible. We've experienced that through this event as well. So tell us, how do you find these great people? And how have you dealt with the whole staffing issue during the last 18 months?
Well, first, I thank you for asking the question. I'm supposed to pretend the question isn't planted, right? Let's see if they have a sense of humor. It's early in the morning. I'm passionate about staff, and Jonathan knows I'm passionate about staff. So he said, I'll throw it at you. So come at me on staff. I've always been, I'm going to say surprised and a bit shocked that even as an hotelier, when I was a general manager, everyone would visit me and ask me about the design, the architect, my average rate, my profit. As a CEO, then the questions are elevated. What's your portfolio growth, and which regions are you focused on, and so on and so forth. But very few people ask me, what about your people? Where do you get your people? How do you keep them engaged? How do you give them a voice and are successful on recruiting them and wanting them to join you? What makes you an employer of choice, right? I'm passionate and committed to being an employer of choice because that's the only reason employees will come to you. They will come to you because you give them a voice, because you integrate their ideas and not just their work, because they're part of your mission. So it's a tough job, and I say every leader needs to be an HR. You have to be a human resources individual and a great leader for people to follow and want to be part of your story. We're very fortunate. Throughout the pandemic, we actually acquired talent. And talent is everywhere. If you pay attention, I think there's more talent than great leaders, and I'm sorry to say this in this room, but if leaders are great, talent is abundant.
Okay, that's a great answer. I can see my colleague staring at me because we're running a little bit late, so I'm going to jump over. I know we were going to move on to investment because I know you're doing some amazing things with new hotels around the world and at a very high level. But just give us, we've got a lot of investors in this room today. Give us, what is your key message for the investment community?
A few key messages, I would say. This is a good moment for investors. Don't be afraid to invest. The travel industry has been growing in average 4% per year, and in some areas 6, 7, 8% demand. So I would say, or I would encourage to pay attention to market shifts, temporary market shifts. Market demand is changing over the next 2 to 5 years, and I believe it will return later on. So I would say look at opportunities that have short-term returns, and we certainly entered a nice acquisition in the Maldives, announced 2 weeks ago, that I believe is actually going to be benefiting from short-term demand. A lot of people talk about the buzzword of pent-up demand. I still want people to explain to me when is pent-up demand going to convert into cash flow, frankly. So don't worry about pent-up demand. Worry about funneled demand that has been shifted to some destinations. And I would say the Maldives, Dubai, other destinations are actually recipients of increased demand compared to other parts of the world. So if you are in a short-term game, look at those opportunities of temporary funneled demand. If you're on a long-term game, which we are in both, look at areas where the business isn't as good today, but will be 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, and maybe that's European cities. If you're trying to enter European cities, this is probably a great moment, as owners may disinvest their position. Or if you're trying to enter Asia. Asia is long haul, multiple flights. Maybe the Asian investments will not be returning as much as they have in the past. So this would be a great moment to re-enter in the market.
Okay. Well, listen, Jose, I'd love to carry on with you, but we need to move on to our next session. But on behalf of all of us, can I just say thank you so much for hosting us here at the Madinat Jumeirah and having some insights on your leadership, and congratulations on everything you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.